on food labeling and nutrition. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Dr. Fatima Hachem, and the floor is yours. Hello. Good afternoon, Dr. Fatima Hachem. Are we audible for you?
Yes.
Okay, so the floor is yours, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to all of you. And I'm really honored to be invited to the second International Conference on Food and Nutrition. And I would have loved to be with you in person, but as you know, the month of October is a very busy month for FAO. We are closing today the World Food Forum, as we are celebrating the World Food Day on the 16th of October, and around this date we organize a lot of activities, and next week we have the committee on the CFS, the Committee on Food Security. So with that said, I would be sharing my screen with you, and I apologize if things that I will be presenting have been said before, but I'm trying to bring to you the global context and what FAO is doing for increasing awareness on sustainable healthy diets or food consumption. So I will be starting by sharing my screen. Okay, is it visible to all of you? I think it is. So let me start by saying that the outline of this presentation will be actually to perhaps recap on the malnutrition challenges that we are facing as humanity, as a whole world system. And then what I heard a little bit of the previous presentation, and there are a lot of mention of the food system and food systems. So I will be also putting in context some of these challenges and how they relate to diets and to the way we eat. And then I will present to you what FAO, WHO have put together as guiding principles for sustainable healthy diets, and a more recent work that we will be publishing very soon based on the sustainable healthy diets. And this is a new methodology for developing dietary guidelines, which we call food systems-based dietary guidelines, and I will explain why and how it's different to the traditional way of developing dietary guidelines. So to start with, we in the 21st century are still having a major problem of hunger and malnutrition. So if I go through the data that was reported by the State of Food Security and Nutrition in the world in 2023, we see that hunger is still high. We have as many as 783 million people are still hungry. Food insecurity is still widely spread around the world. Of course, there are regions where it's more pronounced than others, but over 2.4 billion people are moderately or severely food insecure. With that, we all know that we are having a very serious problem of increasing overweight and obesity. The figures show us 676 million people are obese. Mortality rates related to non-communicable diseases and diet and non-communicable diseases are responsible for 74% of all death worldwide. And then what is very important is that the affordability of healthy diets is quite difficult for 3.2 billion people around the world. So these figures are quite impressive, And in fact, what is more worrying and alarming is that we have not been achieving a lot of progress in the last few years. And of course, the onset of the COVID pandemic has not helped much. So the figures like were increasing and not decreasing. And also we have seen a number of natural disasters around the world, and also conflicts that are affecting the availability of food. So these are all adding to the pressure on our food resources. But of course, to keep with the nutrition, the trends are also on the increase. So it's not only the numbers and the trends. The trends are on the increase among men and women, as we can see in the graph in front of you, and the projections are also going in this direction. So this is a problem that we really need to address, and address quite aggressively. Also, the non-communicable diseases are on the increase. So if you look at the regions around the world, you will see, and this is a comparison between the data in 2017 and what the numbers would be in 2045. And you will see that the numbers are also the projections are that the non-communicable diseases will be increasing around the world. In particular, we are talking here about diabetes, and you all know that diabetes, being nutritionists, that diabetics have a higher likelihood of developing coronary cardiovascular diseases. So the percentages are high in few regions in the world, like we are talking about 110% increase in the Middle East and North Africa, and in Southeast Asia, we are talking about an increase of 84%. So these numbers show us that all efforts, countries are putting a lot of effort in tackling malnutrition in all its forms. But the burden is quite high, and perhaps we are not yet doing things in the way to make an impact. So this is something that we need to be thinking about, all of us, researchers, policymakers, on how to tackle these important problems of malnutrition. Now, when I come to the globally agreed nutrition goals, and these are the goals that come from the WHO World Assembly, we see that we have 5 goals, and we see that the world has achieved some progress on exclusive breastfeeding. But in fact, if we look at the other indicators, and that is low birth weight, stunting, wasting, and overweight among children under the age of 5, we are far from reaching the targets by 2025. So and we know very well that malnutrition in childhood will lead to other types of malnutrition in the form of undernutrition. It can lead to more malnutrition in the form of obesity, cardiovascular diseases, and non-communicable diseases in adulthood. So to link this to the diets, we know that the malnutrition problems are very complex in etiology, and many causes many interactions work together, whether it's care, whether it's education, whether it's the food system. They interact together and produce malnutrition. But we know that one of the immediate causes of malnutrition is diets. And diets here, if I look at the global burden of disease results that was mentioned, I think, by the previous speaker, we see that the dietary risks are among the highest risks contributing to the global burden of disease. So diets are where we need to intervene, perhaps, and among other things, of course, and in parallel and conjunction with other interventions. But there is a lot to do in making the diets healthier for everyone. But is this possible? Now, in 2014, FAO and WHO convened the second International Conference on Nutrition, and it was then affirmed that we have a problem with our food systems. And our current food systems, and I like this quote quite a lot, and I keep using it everywhere to remind ourselves, like our current food systems are being increasingly challenged to provide adequate, safe, diversified, and nutrient-rich food for all that contribute to healthy diets. And this has many reasons, but one of the or a group of reasons are related to the constraints that are posed by the resource scarcity and environmental degradation, as well as by the unsustainable production and consumption patterns. So our behaviors in the production and in the consumption are affecting are putting pressure on our food systems, and this is where, as consumers, we have a role to play. So, sorry, the title is not complete, but so it's here. I'm quoting also from a very good researcher and scholar that if significant transformations are not made in our current food systems, this would be the first time in human history when the next generation would have shorter life expectancy than their parents, and they would have a whole like a package of diseases and other constraints in their lives. So the question is very serious, and we have to address it properly. Now, the food systems are very complicated. So what are we really talking about? And why diets? And why are we talking about this, about the sustainable or the sustainable consumption or sustainable diets and healthy diets? I'm always putting the two adjectives together, healthy and sustainable diets. So this framework of the food systems is the one that was proposed by the high panel of a high-level panel of experts of the CFS, the Committee on Food Security, in 2017, where we were putting all the factors that affect diets and the sustainability of the food system. So we have on the top end of this graph, we have all the external factors that underlie the components of the food system and form and shape them. And here we're talking about the demographic drivers, the socio-cultural drivers, the political context, and the economic context, and all the know-how and technologies that affect the food system, and also all the environmental drivers. But in general, we consider that there are three components of the food system that are affected by these external drivers, and these are the food supply chains, the food environment, and the diets, and here we have a lot to do with the consumer behavior as well. So what we want to understand from this graph is that there are a lot of initiatives and actions that need to be taken upstream to make the food supply chain sustainable, and this is where the production, the processing, the retail, all of these are important to go in the direction of sustainability. And we also need the food environment, all the legislations, all the advertisements, the food quality, all to be also conducive for consumers to have the right choices, but also we need to work on the knowledge, on the attitudes, on the behavior, so that the consumers can do that. But once we start making our choices, there is a loop. So we do affect the food environment. So whether the diets are a major contributor or a lesser of a contributor to the sustainability question is debatable. Of course, some of the economists think that we have to focus more on upstream, but others and the nutritionists in particular and environmentalists think that there is a big role for the sustainable consumption to add to the gains that we have if we work on the prerequisites of making our food systems sustainable. So, and why is it so? It's because, and this graph is from the Global Nutrition Report in 2020. This graph shows the impact of certain food groups on some of the environmental indicators. So, and the comparison is between 2010 and 2050. So if we look at the greenhouse gas emissions and we look at the very long or high column, we see that the major stress coming from our food groups is from the animal products in relation to the greenhouse emissions. If we look at the second two columns, then we see that for cropland use, we have stress that is exerted by the by the staples plus the animal source foods. Also, when we look at the blue water use, I mean, these indicators are very important for the environmental sustainability. The staples are producing between the two timelines. They are producing more pressure on the blue water use. So then it's like on the nitrogen applications and the phosphorus applications, we see an equal sort of pressure between the staples and the animal source. So of course, the production system, and this graph, in fact, it includes all the inputs that are used in producing these food groups. So this is where it shows us that the type of foods that we produce is putting a lot of pressure on the environment. And here we have a lot to do with the agricultural practices and with the processing practices, but also how we eat is also affecting our choices as consumers, are also affecting the environmental indicators. And here I'm quoting, I'm presenting this graph from a recent research in the United States, and it's more specific on the contribution of certain dietary patterns, how we put them together, how we eat. As individuals in a whole diet aspect and not only the food products. And this is related to the carbon footprints. These comparisons are standardized to an intake of 2,000 kilocalories per day. And here we see the different contributions from the different dietary patterns. And for a standard American diet, there's a big of variability in the contribution, but it can go up to the 8 kilogram CO2 equivalent. But for the Mediterranean diet and the vegan diet, we see that the contribution is less. The paleo diet is a diet that is focusing more on the non-processed foods, everything that is like that is closer to what nature produces. The keto diet is a diet that is high in fat and proteins and very little in in plant-based products. And the climatarian diet is a diet of people who are conscious about their choices and how they affect the environment. And it's a diet where there is a lot of plant-based products, very little processing, and so this is what the research. These are the patterns that the research worked on, and we can see clear this difference between the diets based on the individual choices. And this is where sustainable consumption is key. So, taking all this together, in 2019, FAO and WHO commissioned 6 background papers and on different aspects of diets and the implications or how diet is impacted by and impacts environmental indicators, sociocultural indicators, food safety. And then an expert consultation was organized that represents all geographical areas in the world. And we came up with some principles regarding what should be a sustainable healthy diet, what should be considered when countries want to promote sustainable healthy diets. So we define these sustainable healthy diets as the dietary patterns that promote all dimensions of individual health and well-being. They have low environmental pressure and impact. And also are accessible, affordable, safe, and equitable, and are culturally acceptable. So there isn't a one diet that fits all. So this is something to start with. Diets should be culturally acceptable, should be should be defined within their local context, but they have to be affordable, safe, accessible, equitable, and also, of course, as a starting point, meeting all individuals' health requirements. And they should be preventing all sorts of malnutrition and providing opportunities for optimal growth and development. And of course, they should be reducing the risk of diet-related non-communicable diseases. So this is the general description of these diets, but we went into defining as a model for sustainability that puts a lot of focus on health and nutrition and the sociocultural aspects and the environmental aspects that should be working all together. Normally, sustainability models or frameworks give very little attention to health and nutrition. So this is the novelty in this approach, that we are talking about health as a major dimension or aspect of sustainability. So under the first aspect, this is our snake, where we have all the aspects, the health. We have 8 principles that are related to health and nutrition. Then we have 5 related to the environment and 3 related to the cultural and sociocultural aspects. And these need to work together. So this is our idea of what a sustainable consumption or diet should be. Health is part of the whole story. We cannot talk about, because some sustainable diets are not healthy, and also some healthy diets are not sustainable. So this is where we are having the whole picture. So to go through the principles, the health principles focus on starting early in life, so initiation of breastfeeding and exclusive breastfeeding until the 6 months of age is a must, so that we are preparing the grounds for healthy individuals. Then these diets should be based on a great variety of unprocessed or minimally processed foods, and we are not incriminating processing, because we believe that processing is very important for food security and nutrition, but we are also raising the flag on what processed foods could contain in terms of salt, sugar, saturated fat, and all the other things. And these diets should be balanced across the food groups, and these food groups should be defined culturally, because not everybody puts potatoes in with the cereals in the world. It all depends on how you consume potatoes, whether it's carbohydrate-rich food, or you put it with the vegetables, is a choice that nutritionists in the countries can make. But also, there is a very important note on restricting the drinks that are highly processed, and here we are referring to the sugar-sweetened beverages. So these are the first 2. Then we go on to describe what this diet should be including, and all this is connected to the whole picture of health, environment, and social aspects. They have to include whole grains, legumes, nuts, and an abundance and variety of fruits and vegetables. That could be defined by the dietary guidelines, the national dietary guidelines in different combinations. And they do allow for a moderate amounts of eggs, of dairy, poultry, and fish, and small amounts of red meat. So red meat is not a criminal here, but depending on the context, some countries might want to increase their consumption of red meat, others might need to or should be reducing it for different reasons. Of course, the drinking, the fluid of choice should be water and it should be safe. And then the idea of adequacy, the adequacy in energy and in nutrients to allow for growth and development and to meet the needs, but also not to be in excess. We all the time promote the WHO guidelines, especially when it comes to diet-related non-communicable diseases. So these diets should be also developed with this idea, and they should be free, or if possible, having very minimal levels of pathogens and toxins, because food safety is part of the healthy diet idea. Now, on that health aspect, FAO and WHO will be publishing very soon, perhaps in the coming 10 days, a joint position on what constitutes healthy diets. And you will see that they will be reshaping, the note will be reshaping these principles under 4 categories, and that is balance, diversity, adequacy, and moderation. So these are the things that sustain that the healthy diet should have, but also this should be linked to the other aspects of sustainability. And here I come to just to remind you that we have the environmental guidelines. And what do we mean by that? We mean that the diets should maintain greenhouse gas emissions, water and land use, nitrogen and phosphorus applications, and chemical pollution within set targets. These are the planetary boundaries, but countries can have their own targets, and this should be all the time. We should be thinking about dietary patterns within the commitments of the countries. They should be preserving biodiversity, and then this means that there should be an inclusion of crops, livestock, and forest-derived foods and aquatic foods that with the idea of minimizing overfishing and overhunting, so that we preserve the natural resources. And also the antibiotics. We always tend to think the antibiotics and the hormones in the food production, but they do affect the health of people and through the food chain. We are getting exposed to the antibiotics and the hormones used in production. And the plastics and derivatives are very important to reduce. And also, I heard a speaker, or perhaps in the summary, you were talking about the food losses and waste. This is a very important as a guideline to respect, because sometimes we tend to do good things, thinking that we are providing healthy food to children in schools, for example, but when they don't like what is offered, then we end up having a lot of waste to deal with. So this is the environmental aspects. But then this cannot be complete without looking at the last 3 guiding principles that relate to sociocultural, economical aspects. And here we have 3 principles that pack a lot of ideas, and but one thing that is important, and this is where we are referring to the respect of local culture and culinary practices and local knowledge, because there is no diet to prescribe for everyone. Diets are different, and they can be healthy, and they can be sustainable, and they can be culturally adapted, and this is what we are promoting. So in the way we produce, in the way we consume, we are encouraging the local knowledge and the local habits, knowing that diet should not be like standardized. And the idea of accessibility and desirability, and here is where the economic aspect comes in, as well as the taste of consumers. And finally, it's very important to avoid all negative, unintended negative consequences related to gender, especially when it comes to time and location. So when we are promoting minimally processed foods, we need to understand that somebody in the house will have the burden of preparing this, and most of the time it's women, and this is impacting on care and on many other aspects related to the development of women and their inclusion in the workforce. So we have in 16 guiding principles put together what sustainable consumption should be, and how it should be balancing the different dimensions. But all this needs to be done within the local context, and there are trade-offs that are to be decided on locally. Now, to put all this in context, we know that countries develop dietary guidelines to promote healthy diets, but if you, and you perhaps know that FAO is the holder of a repository where countries, after developing their dietary guidelines, contact us to put them on our website so that they can share them with the world. And this is our website at the which was developed in 2014 at the time we had the second International Conference on Nutrition. At present, we have 100 countries that have provided their dietary guidelines, and sometimes when they review them, they also contact us most of the time. So we have different versions of the dietary guidelines, and this is a rich repository for research. If you look at what has been published lately on dietary guidelines, you see that this has been used quite a lot, and also for sharing experiences among countries. But we have seen quite a lot of problems in the dietary guidelines, in their uptake and their use. Their use has been mainly focused on nutrition education, whereas they can be used to inform policies in the food system for alignment with the dietary guidelines. So this is why we started working on a new way of developing dietary guidelines, and we came up with a methodology that has benefited from the inputs of many experts from around the world. And we call it food systems-based dietary guidelines. And this is a methodology that shows countries how to address malnutrition within the local context, but also contribute to the transformation of food systems in a meaningful way. And here we link the dietary goals. We have a methodology composed of 6 stages that builds on the partnerships and the multi-sectoral engagement from the start in the process for developing and implementing the food systems-based dietary guidelines. In stage 2, we do a situation analysis and review of evidence that is global and local, but also we do the analysis of the policies related to food and nutrition, and we review the dietary goals in light of what the local food systems can cope with or comply with, and how it should change for future like alignment between food and nutrition guidelines. And then we develop the recommendations, the dietary recommendations, but also recommendations for the food system at the level of supply, the level of food environment, and also the level of consumers. And with all this, we guide countries on how to use all this information to put in place a coherent strategy for the implementation of food systems-based dietary guidelines that goes beyond education and help to touch on all sectors involved in the food system with very concrete and feasible interventions. And then this goes, with this, there is a capacity development and communication actions that need to be accompanied with, and then how we implement and monitor, and what sort of governance system is needed to be put in place so that all sectors work together. This methodology, we have produced an overview of the methodology that you can have on our site, but it will be launched in 2025. And we have started supporting countries that are requesting, that come to FAO for support with this new approach. Now, to end this presentation, I'm just putting in front of you a few of our publications. You can see the overview on the food systems-based dietary guidelines, and you can see the sustainable healthy diets guiding principles as 2 documents figuring there, but this is not the only thing. And what is important to say that we are all the time working in FAO to promote sustainable healthy diets that are good for people and for the environment. And with this, I thank you very much, and I come to the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fatima Hachem, for your enlightening keynote speech.
For the next agenda, we will commemorate the 50 years of SEAMEO RCCN milestone. And this special session will be moderated by Dr. Siti Muslimatun. We now respectfully invite her to the stage.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, all the conference audience, good afternoon and good day. I hope all of you still have time, wake up, spirit to have this session, the 50 years commemoration of collaboration between SEAMEO, RECFON, and Wageningen University, the reminiscence of the beginning. First of all, I'm here today is very moved and also full of emotion to commemorate the 50 years collaboration between Wageningen University and SEAMEO RECFON. 50 years of collaboration and partnership which still actively and happily alive between 2 institutions and 2 nations. Indonesia holds long significant history of having good examples of excellent nutrition program to overcome high burden of malnutrition problem. And these programs are recognized worldwide. Some of these successful stories, the Nobel Prize in the discovery of vitamin B1 for beriberi is actually happened in Indonesia, this research. And then vitamin A capsule supplementation to tackle child blindness and mortality, which the study was done in Aceh. And then posyandu for child growth monitoring, which is used as a model for many countries in the world. In 1970s, where malnutrition problem in Indonesia is very high, at that time, there was no training center for higher education, available in Indonesia. In this period, SEAMEO organization, in which all of us are aware, This is organization belong to the Ministry of Education in Southeast Asian countries. Receive support from GTZ, a German technical assistant body, for capacity building in nutrition and centered in Indonesia. So in this effort, Professor Houtfast, as the first director of Human Nutrition Division of Wageningen University, worked together with SEAMEO TropMed, the former name of our the SEAMEO RECFON, to materialize the idea. With this collaboration and projects, some postgraduate trainings, degree and non-degree, were conducted at SEAMEO RECFON to build capacity for Southeast Asian countries. Many alumni of these programs are here among us and also hold crucial positions in Southeast Asian countries and organizations involved in research, education, programs, and policy formulation in nutrition in their respective countries or in many other international organizations. I myself am very proud and always consider myself as the luckiest person in the world and very grateful to be one of the alumni of this program and products of 50 years of collaboration. So during this second international conference of food and nutrition today, we have distinguished guests with us. Two of our guests are the two main historical actors of this 50 years collaboration. Professor Joe Houtfast, the former director of Human Nutrition Division of Wageningen University, and Professor Sumila Sastro Amijoyo, the former director of SEAMEO RECFON Indonesia. So please give our round of applause for Prof. Houtfast and Prof. Sumila, who join with us online. Hello, Prof. Houtfast. Hello, Prof. Sumila. In addition to that, hello, Prof. In addition to that, we also have Professor Edith Veskens, the Director of Human Nutrition and Epidemiology Division of Wageningen University.
Not there.
And of course, we have Dr. Herkun Tato, the Director of SEAMEO RECFON Indonesia. Please, Dr. Herkun Tato, join me on stage. So please give round of applause to Prof. Edith Veskens and Dr. Herkun Tato. So now, to give you a better context about what is this 50 years of collaboration, let's see video which has been prepared for us by the committee. Please.
SEAMEO TropMed Network was founded in 1967 with 4 specialized focus centers in Southeast Asia. One of it based in Indonesia, dedicated to nutrition and known as SEAMEO TropMed RCCN, or the Regional Center for Community Nutrition. In 1976, the center launched the Master of Science in Applied Nutrition program, marking an important step in developing nutrition education in the region. By the late 1970s into the mid-1980s, the master and doctoral program were consolidated with the assistance from the Netherlands. This collaboration was sparked by Professor Joe Houtfast's visit to Indonesia in 1974. In 1990s, with the support from SEAMEO TropMed GDC Tropology project, the center has continued to evolve its diploma and master programs by inviting leading experts from around the world, including from Wageningen University, to teach and contribute to the curriculum. In 1992, the field research program was initiated, which provided opportunities for undergraduate students from Europe to conduct research alongside with SEAMEO TropMed. Some of the field research students came from Wageningen University. In 2011, the center underwent a significant transformation, evolving from SEAMEO TropMed RCCN into what is now known as SEAMEO RECFON.
Nutrition research between Indonesia and the Netherlands has a long history. More about 100 years ago, scientists like Dr. Eijkman and Dr. Grains did research on vitamin B1 deficiency causing beriberi. And it was fantastic research. And after the Second World War, dus 60 years ago, there was also cooperation and scientific cooperation between Netherlands and Indonesia. I especially remember Professor Oman. Professor Oman, he was a medical doctor working in Indonesia, involved in nutrition research, and he was asked by the World Health Organization, region Southeast Asia, to study the prevalence of the vitamin A deficiency, which is causing, as we all know, diseases and blindness in young children.
Deficiencies of energy, protein, and vitamin A were the two main public health nutrition problems in Indonesia during the year 1960 to 1970. In addition, nutritional anemia and iodine deficiency were other two nutritional problems in Indonesia. Professor Houtvast was very influential to bridge in the initiation of the SEAMEO TropMed Indonesia through a SEAMEO DTZ trophology project.
With my background, with my interests, it's of course clear that I started first to work with Indonesia, to continue the cooperation. I'm very pleased that we celebrate today, these days, the 50 years cooperation between Indonesia and the Netherlands, and especially, of course, the SEAMEO organization, the SEAMEO RECFON organization. And it worked very successful. We had many colleagues coming to Wageningen. We went to Indonesia to join in courses.
Different nutritional related problems exist in the 11 Southeast Asia countries, leading to different tasks necessary to answer challenges in relation to current issues of nutritional problems in the community and the respective countries. Different school and health-related institutions in Southeast Asia have involved nutrition topics and activities in their daily tasks.
One of the most significant impact of SEAMEO RECFON's collaboration with Wageningen was the students and staff exchange, which facilitated strong bonding between Wageningen and SEAMEO TropMed RCCN. This partnership has laid the groundwork for a strong and impactful collaboration. For over the past 5 decades, Wageningen University and SEAMEO RECFON have been united by the shared commitment to addressing global nutrition challenges, especially by providing training for the nutrition talents in Southeast Asia. Today, the seed planted continue to bear fruit, with over 5,000 alumni working in various fields, including nutrition, health, agriculture, education, and other related disciplines throughout Southeast Asia countries. Currently, the Master of Science in Nutrition program and Doctoral program in Nutrition is hosted by the Faculty of Medicine Universitas Indonesia in cooperation with SEAMEO RECFON, and still holds the commitment to develop pools of talents in nutrition for the regions.
Increasing partnerships between Indonesia and the Netherlands, aiming at more problem-solving activities, are necessary. By exchanging expertise and experience through collaboration between SEAMEO RECFON and Department of Human Nutrition, Wageningen University.
This cooperation will continue because the present director of the Department of Human Nutrition, Professor Edith Veskens, well known already in Indonesia, she will take on the responsibility.
2024 is the year where we celebrate our remarkable 50-year collaboration with Wageningen University. As we look back on this incredible journey, let us continue to advance our research and project collaboration as we step toward a healthier future for our communities.
I hope all of you enjoy the video and also knows the history of the collaborations. So, hello, Prof. Hotfast. I hope you have a good heart and enjoying a good weather today. So, Prof, just a short message, Prof. How do you feel today? And also about this 50 years celebration. And also, how do you see, what do you want to see in the future, Prof? The alumni are here, Prof.
Yes, I can. Yes, I'm very pleased that we can celebrate this moment, that we have so long in cooperation with SEAMEO, RECFON, and yes, I'm a happy man that I can realize at my age what we have done together with my colleagues there. Yes, and what to do more. Yes, I have one suggestion to you. You are asking us about environmental nutrition. Huh? You're asking that, huh? What to do about it?
Yes, Prof.
I think it is clear that public health is in need of environmental nutrition data, because that makes a lot of situation clear with regarding to nutrition health. We also know that each country in the EU region has different food systems, different problems, and I have maybe one suggestion for the future. Why I suggest would be to invite PhD students from the region who are involved in food systems and environmental health and public health to come together for a week or 10 days. They should be trained. What are they doing? And maybe they can exchange data with colleagues in different countries, because it is a regional problem, not a national problem only. That should be done, and to see what the effect will be. We have much experience in doing these courses in different parts of the world, bringing them together. And what's important is these young people learn to know each other very well. So when we talk about 10 to 20 years further, we have a very strong task force who are involved in this, who are specialized in this, and that I would give as a kind of recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Now we move to Prof. Sumila. Hello, Prof. I really miss you, Prof. I hope you're always healthy and happy. So what I'm sure, because you are still in very close contact with SEAMEO RECFON now. So how do you see Prof. SEAMEO RECFON today, and what is the most significant impact that we can see from this collaboration, and why should we continue? Thank you, Prof.
Well, SEAMEO RECFON now, as regional center, has its own entity as food and nutrition subject, so no longer as part of tropical nutrition, tropical medicine. Consequently, it also played an important role in food and nutrition in Southeast Asia region.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Now, actually, we receive messages from both our Prof. Fatfas and Prof. Sumila that actually this collaboration should be continued. And for me, I think it should be at least for another 50 years to go. So I would like to come to Professor Adit Veskens. Hello, Prof. Thank you to company Prof. Hotfast. So what would like to have your opinion on what could be done to continue this excellent East-West collaborations and also to strengthen both the capacity building as well as improving the nutrition, public health without sacrificing the environment and sustainability. Please, I think Wageningen is best on this aspect.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the SEAMEO RECFON organization with this milestone, very important anniversary. And indeed, I also want to be continuing this important collaboration for at least 50 years, so beyond our life, Jo.
Yes.
I always enjoyed also coming to Jakarta and teaching and being part of the MSc and PhD training, and I think we should continue with that. But especially, I indeed also like to congratulate you for taking up the topic of environmental nutrition, or as the previous speaker, Fatima from FAO said, indeed, we talk about sustainable and healthy diets, right? So a diet should be healthy, and sustainable not only for the future of us, human, but also for planetary health and animal health. So we in Wageningen are focused on that already a lot during the past 10 years, and we have developed courses. And I think apart from, let's say, we interested in greenhouse gas emissions, also land use, water use, and biodiversity is very, very important to keep that in mind when making food-based dietary guidelines. But that's difficult because we need data. So I agree with Prof. Houtfast saying that we need to establish data, local data, on the impact of, let's say, parts of agriculture and food processing, especially on water use and biodiversity, because that is really specific for each country and each region and, let's say, each way of agriculture. And it will change over time, and at least I hope it will improve over time. So doing this jointly also with similar, let's say, cultural exposures like the rice, etc., what we can learn from Vietnam or Thailand or Indonesia, I think it's all very important to put this together. And a good idea to at least, say, with PhD students, train them together in a more formal structure, perhaps. On the other side, we also have, let's say, courses which are more online. We can think about how Indonesian students could be involved in those. And also we are now working on setting up a live course for students, postgraduate students, on implementation science. And that is something different, but implementation science in nutrition is not, formally trained, while we think that also needs to be done in a little bit more structural way, because we have experiences of doing programs in Indonesia or in Sub-Saharan Africa or in Vietnam or Bangladesh. But what can we learn from that? And what we can teach in terms of nutrition, scientists and agriculture in relation to implementations of programs which are maybe in an academic setting cost effective or effective, but we don't know how it works in real life. And that is important. And how to get that working in real life and discuss with stakeholders, etc., and with the government. I think this is also scientists or young scientists need to be trained in this to understand what they need to do later in life, in real life and in the field and in practice. So that is also something we can help with, I think. So these are some suggestions from the current professor in Wageningen.
Thank you very much, Professor Edith Vesken. And now I would like to invite Dr. Herkuntato.
Pusiti, can I interrupt a little bit?
Yes,
Wants to say something a little bit more?
Yes, please. Please, Prof. Prof. Sumila, please.
Awareness of good nutritional status is the prime or core issue of being healthy. Therefore, it is very important that collaboration between SEAMEO, RECFON, and Wageningen is to be continued and even stronger in the future.
Yes. Now, this is the homework of Dr. Herkuntanto and also Prof. Edith Vesken. So now Prof. Edith has been informed us what would be the plan. Now it's time for us to have listen from Dr. Herkuntanto. Please, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, tears in my eyes, you see. We witness the, with our eyes, you see, the presence of Professor Johan Vas and Professor Sumila, the two founders of SEAMEO RECFON. I think this is a very historical moment for us, yeah. So after 50 years, then we meet again, yeah, even though it's online. Of course, we always pray to God that Professor Hatvas, Professor Sumila, Professor Edith will have good health and also be happy throughout the life. Well, thank you very much also for the committee members who have proposed the agenda for this session. Yeah. In my opinion, at the moment, SEAMEO RECFON programs are based on life cycles. So we provide the childcare, nutrition, education, and then we also have nutrition goes to work to address the necessity for school lunch program, especially now that we have the new government, and one of the government's main program is on school lunch program. So of course we will do our best to support the government to make it successful and to give a significant impact on the health status of the community. And also we are now doing nutrition goes to work. You know, office, factories are also very important in shaping the conditions of the workers, yeah, and also to improve the health status of the nations. So that's our current programs, flagship programs, which I think will be added if we can also implement. We can conduct the environmental nutrition as stated by Professor Huffman and Professor Edith. Because with those programs, it will need sufficient raw materials, processes, and then preparations, and that will lead to environmental nutrition. So what I'm thinking about in the next 50 years, the collaboration between Wageningen and SEAMEO RECFON is first, of course, environmental nutrition. And then probably we could also develop some socio-cultural aspects of food, such as how to provide local food, how to improve acceptance of Indonesian people to variety of food and nutritions. We know that Indonesia is very vast, and we have more than 17,000 islands and consists of many tribes and races. So perhaps they have different acceptance towards different foods. So that will be challenging, yeah, if we can discuss and research on that. And also, if we want to have a collaboration, that will be to continue about student and faculty exchange, yeah, as mentioned by Professor Edith, yeah, yeah. So I'm really in support of that. One also thing that comes out to my mind is that because this has been a very strong rooted collaboration with Wageningen and RECFON, maybe it's time for RECFON to have a special advisor, someone who can guide us and maybe can give support for us, yeah, in our programs, and it can be from University of Wageningen representing the Netherlands, and we would like to have also to ask support from our country, yeah, to have permission for that. So I hope by those ideas we can implement the collaboration. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Herkuntanto. So maybe it would be time now to propose to our government and also to the Netherlands that to appoint a kind of governing board within our in the SEAMEO RECFON. I think that should be hopefully successful. Yes. Dr. Herkuntanto. So
yeah, we'll pray and I'll do our best for that.
Yeah. I think due to time limitation, from this short discussion, we'll learn a lot that long-standing cooperation and collaboration is very possible and benefiting both parties, and also with high multiplier effects. And I think we have to continue this collaboration. I really do hope all of us will witness for another 50 years collaboration between SEAMEO and Wageningen University. So with that, I would like to invite Dr. Herkuntanto as an appreciation to present a certificate to our dearest Professor Joe Hotfast. Please.
Professor Hotfast, it is an honor for me, representing SEAMEO RECFON, to award you with the certificate of appreciation for your effort and your hard work for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And so here we all of us give a big round of applause, Prof. And maybe I would like you to give some short appreciation also, Prof, please.
Yes, I will do it short. I'm very astonished and happy that you are giving me that certificate. You know, our cooperation has been always on a very good friendship and collegiate. We are colleagues and working together. And I see there my good friend Sumila on the. We shared for 50 years cooperation. We are good friends. So you can understand that I feel very, very proud that you have selected Wageningen, and he puts it to me, but it is the whole group in Wageningen, of course. Thank you very much. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. No, I forget. Bedang. Bedang. Thank you very much. Thank you to Prof. Hotfast, Prof. Sumila, Prof. Edith Vaskens. Our warm greeting from Indonesia. Thank you, Dr. Herkuntanto. So we have to end this session. Thank you very much for the audience for all your attention. And let's celebrate.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
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 Ya,
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.